Yo guys, what's up? It's WarSpirit here with Junkrat's Stage 2 video today. Right now Junkrat is probably my second favourite hero to play after Zarya, but they are both very different heroes. While Zarya has a lot of control over her own teammates through her barriers, her aggressive frontline plays and her ultimate initiations, Junkrat doesn't really have much of this at all. Instead, what he has is a lot of control over the enemy team through his crowd control traps, his high damage nade spam, and his fast charging delay style ultimate Riptire. He's squishy, he doesn't have a lot of safety nets, and he is incredibly map specific, while Zarya can be run on attack or defense on any map and pretty much in any team comp you like. If you haven't built your team comp at least a little around your Junkrat player, then you probably won't be holding that first point for very long. A lot of current players do think that Junkrat is a bit out of the meta right now, mainly because of the high Ana pick rates and how she can charge her ult out of Junkrat spam, which I think is a little bit wrong. Honestly, I always found McCree, Discord Orbs, Pharahs and Widowmakers to be Junkrat's biggest counters, and all of those guys are rocking a pretty low pick rate just now in the Ana, Lucio, Reaper, Mei team comps of today. Junkrat's pretty fantastic against Reapers and Meis, so don't worry too much about people telling you not to pick Junkrat. If it's for first point defense on any map and you're damn good at Junkrat, then pick him. He still has that awesome advantage of shredding enemy Reinhardt shields, and whenever you're hitting actual grenades, try to follow them up with a kill to minimize the enemy support ultimate gains. He's also pretty brilliant at shutting down nano boosted opponents anyway. He can trap those overly aggressive Reinhardts which are just seeing red, swinging their hammers like crazy with the nano boost, and he can knock them away with his concussive mines as well, and he can even instantly blow up some of the squishier nano boosted targets with his own ultimate Riptire. So let's first jump into my quick tips with Junkrat. Same sort of layout as my Zarya Stage 2 guide, and we'll be having a full competitive match breakdown coming in afterwards. Some of these will be pretty simple, but it is important to cover them all here. First up is trap positioning. One of the easiest things to learn and understand about the traps is to actually think about where you are placing your traps. The first part of this is watching when you're putting a trap on a slope. If the enemies are walking up this slope on their way towards the point and your trap is on this slope, then it's going to be very easy to see because it's going to be within their field of view, definitely on screen and very easy to spot. So I've got a lot of my favorite trap positions on a lot of different maps as well. I'm going to show you a couple of them here and just explain why they're my favorite trap positions. Aside from your standard first trap on the spawn doors, which by the way has been granting me a kill in at least 50% of my top 500 ranked games in the past week. Looking at Hollywood first, I love abusing the shadows here for my traps. Very rarely will I ever have a trap in a patch of sunlight, and most commonly will I have it on the very edge of a shadow, blending it in with the change in lighting for the perfect camouflage. On Hollywood you've got these great little lips on the sidewalks which provide additional cover for your traps due to the change in terrain height, and you'll see I'm always hiding a concussive mine alongside these traps and always out of view from approaching enemies. When we get onto the point, aside from replacing my main choke traps, I'll be setting up some safety zones for my team, letting them know where these are. For example, trap on the stairs, come here if you need safety, and then you've got the cafe area for this too. And then the final one here in storage is usually for when I find myself out of position and going for a Riptire ultimate. Hanamura first point defense is another great map for Junkrat where, pending my teammates' opinions, I will always try and pick Junkrat as much as possible. Benefits from the same thing as Hollywood with the sidewalks providing additional cover for your traps. You've got a big wooden beam along the ground at the main choke, almost perfectly hiding your traps, and again you've got some nice side room chokes for your trap safe zones. The next thing to talk about for Junkrat is his escape abilities. So you've got your trap safe zone once the fight breaks out on point, but for those clutch moments you'll need your concussive mine. It's your only real source of quick movement based escape, so you'll want to make sure it's very rarely on cooldown. Have those initial concussive mines set up, throw in some occasional mines alongside your nade launcher for the choke point spams, and then start saving it for clutch in your face kills and escapes. You've got your nade mine combo for insta kills on most of the Overwatch heroes. Hit a nade, quickly launch and detonate your mine for an insta gib, and can also be used on further away targets too, due to the mine being a controlled explosion area of effect and much easier to hit than a bouncing grenade. Even better use is when you're super up close against the likes of a Tracer or Reapers really getting in your face, where you can instantly blow them up and at the same time boost yourself out of further harm's way. Be very careful when judging your distances for the shift and right click insta-gib combo. The detonations can trigger very quickly, and if the enemy is even slightly out of range, you're going to deal no damage to him, but boost yourself up into the sky for what could be very easy pickings. Other super uses for your concussive mine when it is off of cooldown is to knock a charging Reinhardt off of his path, and sometimes you can do amazing things like boosting and ulting Lucio sky high during his drop the beat activation to seriously delay an aggressive enemy push. Another little tip, and just something to be aware of as a Junkrat player, is something called a double trap. It's not something I actively go for, but when it happens, and it's pretty useful. The idea is that you can throw a trap down as soon as someone gets trapped in your previous one, and based on who got trapped, how safe your positioning is, you can actually go for a second trap on the same target just by throwing another one down slightly in front of them. Brilliant in the nano boosted Reinhardt meta, where most Reinhardts only care about pressing W and left click, and they'd normally have to use a fire strike anyway to clear the traps. Other useful targets are aggressive Winstons on your back line and close quarters characters like wraithing Reapers or recalling Tracers. Final quick tips here are to do with your Riptire usage. It's a fast charging ult, you want to use it as often as possible. Single kills are all you need with it. Anything more is fantastic. When you're ready to ult, move to a safe place, cover yourself with a trap to ensure you'll survive the animation, and then go for it. The ult lasts 10 seconds, try and make full use of those 10 seconds. If you are using it simply to delay an enemy push, you can run the tire into walls to hold it in place and throw off the sound cues for the enemy team, and then the other gameplay clips here will give you ideas like shutting down Genji ults pretty easily, denying those last second overtime touches on objectives from the fast flanking heroes, and even forcing the enemy team out of their advantageous situations, like in this clip here where my team are going to get caught in a graviton surge. My positioning should keep me safely out of those and allow me to scare off any aggression with a Riptire. And you'll want to play around Zarya shields, Tracer recoils and Reaper wraith forms with your Riptires as well. Now let's move on to that full match breakdown. So this footage is from a practice scrim between two pretty decent teams, Junkrat on defense on Hollywood. Brilliant. We're playing the Mercy Symmetra defense, which is great for Junkrat. Those quick deaths that can come so easily get fixed very quickly through resis or teleporters. I've got my first trap on the corner just through the choke with a concussive mine there too. It's going to get the Reinhardt and bring me up to 24% charge straight away. They're running an aggressive and a team comp, so we're relying on early picks with the help of our poke damage. The monkey jumps straight in and is quickly focused down while the enemy team is denied any follow-up due to the Reinhardt getting trapped on the second corner there. Hilariously, Lucio gets pinned here and the enemy Rein gets pushed way over the roofs and out of the fight. After that we just bring in the cleanup crew, concussive mine to take out the Ana, and then I play a little passively because this is the part where getting picked on Junkrat can happen and can really hurt your team. The enemy Zarya kind of went the wrong way here and up the stairs, so my team punish her for that and I cover them on their way out with spam. I get my first Riptire about 40 seconds into the game and go for it. On reflection, a little bit too early since the enemy team is still regrouping, and it results in them rushing in afterwards for that second team fight for free. But I hold on to it as long as possible, get a little bit of damage popped off on Zarya, which they have to heal up, a little bit of delay there before the next fight kicks off. This is where a lot happens. Enemy Roadhog gets a hook, there's a good shield from our Zarya, some cover spam from myself, my trap gets destroyed, so I instantly place another one, and then the enemy Reinhardt gets nano boosted, so I go for a concussive knock up on him, which gets shielded by the enemy Zarya. and then he ults. Our Zarya clutch saves us with a nice little barrier block there. Junkrat is one of the only characters where I wouldn't be super fucking scared of dying in this situation. I just backpedal away from Reinhardt, keeping up the CC spam. He goes down really fast. Nano boost gone, great. Monkey eventually gets into the main fight. He was chasing our Symmetra around there, and he takes some big nades to the face, but unfortunately gets me too. Our Zarya cleans up with her ult. We get a Mercy res out. She's right next to me, but somehow I don't get it. But it's okay because we have a TP up, and that's the advantage of the Symmetra Mercy combo. You'll always have your 6 guys there ready for each fight. That is the plan. I'm fighting in my out of position spot here from earlier on, which is okay because the enemy team ends up moving up onto the balcony, which I can spam nicely from this position. Otherwise, I would have moved into the storage corridor if they'd come in closer and tried to get a Riptire off from there. After the spam on the balcony, I go for another Riptire as soon as I have it, looking for a big hit on the balcony, but a Wild Tracer appears, so I take it. Shutting down flankers with Riptire is great. They are trying to open up your backline and give space to the enemy team to move in. So if you can prevent that by shutting them down, take it, and you'll see that the enemy team just falls back here, regrouping with their Tracer. So the next fight, we're expecting a Zarya ult coming into this one. We call it, we know what's about to happen. Our Mercy stays safe. Our Junkrat and Zarya actually managed to spam and nail a pick on Lucio, so we come out of the res with a little bit of an advantage here. Luckily the enemy team have also popped their nano boost, so they shouldn't have any major follow-up ultimates for this resurrect, and I dropped the trap and then a mine to try and get out of that fight. It didn't look like it was going our way even with the res coming through. You'll see a couple of picks in the kill feed in the top right, which means Riptire time. I wait as long as I can for that monkey barrier to go down to maximize my damage to try and get that Lucio there, but in the end it saves the Lucio. I still got a big hit on the Rein though, and again at this point we're just in cleanup mode and I'm in survive mode. As long as I can live, the pressure from my grenades can keep the remaining guys off the point without them having their full team there. But lucky for them, those 3 guys actually managed to escape with their life, so they're set up and ready for their next attempt at a push. Lucio gets picked off yet again with the spam. Riptire comes through. Riptires for days right onto the monkey, but we do get caught in the Zarya ult. I'm actually looking for a quick kill on the Tracer here who's coming in for a pulse bomb, but her pulse bomb hits the Reinhardt shield, so I actually escape from there with my life. Die later on, Mercy comes in again for the clutch res, and I make sure and make that call there for the safety trap on the stairs before moving in over the top of the balcony to clean up the falling back enemies. It was very aggressive dropping down on their heads like this, but we do have a safe TP right now, so any death can be taken pretty lightly. Our Zarya decides to actually go for a big cleanup ultimate, cutting down their potential 2 pushes remaining to a single 1 final push remaining, coming into the last 40 seconds now. For their last push, my choke traps are still doing work there on the Reinhardt, and then the final fight on the point breaks out. I noticed the Reinhardt is looking very cautious on the enemy team with his shield up. He's looking around, you know, you just get that feeling like this guy has ultimate. So I call it, get out of his way. The ult comes down very quickly after that, and then I actually get caught in a Zarya bubble here through the wall, so I'm waiting for it to end before calling in my Riptire, because actually tires do get sucked into Zarya ults and it would be a waste if I called it in there. For this tire my choice is Lucio or Zarya. Lucio looks like he's done for with my McCree and Symmetra there, so I pop it out on the fully charged Zarya. Luckily she didn't have a barrier actually, because coming out of the doorway I didn't see her with one. It was just like, educated guess, she's probably used her barrier considering she's fully charged right now. She goes down and point secured. Full hold. Hollywood defense, Junkrat style. I hope you enjoyed the video guys, hope you learned a little thing or two about Junkrat and his playstyle. Any feedback at all, do let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, leave a rating, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks very much guys, bye bye.